Let's talk about Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro is one of those visionary directors. Whenever he makes a film, you are excited for it because he has such a unique voice and style that can't be replicated. He puts so much heart and emotions and political and social commentary into his films like no other director out there. So from that, I don't understand why people are criticizing this film for not being authentic to the source material. When you're going to a Guillermo del Toro movie, you're not going into it for the source material verbatim. You're going for his unique vision and voice. Having said that, I do think this Frankenstein adaptation is a good movie. I think it is directed, produced, acted, performed, music, all really good stuff in this film. And for the most part, overall, I do enjoy this adaptation of the film. However, that's not to say that I don't have my own personal issues with this film, but it has nothing to do how unfaithful this is to the original story or how much things changed. I have more so to do with what I got from the content. First off, I think the performances and the story of man's folly, of creating and thinking that he's God, is a great commentary, and I think it's done well enough. And portraying Victor, who is actually the villain, who creates this creature with no rhyme or reason for anybody else but himself, just to prove that he is a superior being. And Oscar Isaac's portrayal of Victor is just so good. I think he captures his ego and brashness so well, and when it comes to it, he is kind of sniving and kind of a incel at the end of the day. And surprisingly, how good Jacob Elordi is as Frankenstein's monster. I think he is incredible in this film. I think if you weren't a fan of Jacob Elordi, you are going to be after this film because he shows such a range of emotion and depth and humanizes this creature. But my main criticism has nothing to do with so much what the content and the quality of the film is. I think it has to do with what my expectations were. And being a Guillermo del Toro, I think I was expecting something a lot more from it. I was hoping that the production designs would have wowed me a little bit more. Not to say that it's not good, it's just I expect so much more from him. I also felt like this film didn't emotionally hit me as strong as it could have. There is so much more depth that I think it was trying to portray that it kind of came up short. I wasn't super invested in the characters or their story on an emotional level, and I know that Del Toro can do that. I mean, one of my favorite movies is The Shape of Water. I love his adaptation of Pan's Labyrinth. I even really love Crimson Peak. But I do feel like the characters themselves, not so much their portrayal, but their emotional depth was not there for me, and I didn't quite fall for their trials and tribulations. And I do feel like, and it's a bad criticism, the movie feels a little bit drawn out. I feel like it could have been a tighter film. There are things that don't really add too much. I kind of understood what Mia Goth's character was, therefore, but I feel like her overall portrayal and inclusion could have been cut or used in a different manner where it would have been more important. But overall, I do enjoy Frankenstein. I don't think this is in the upper echelons of what Guillermo del Toro is capable of, but at the same time, I don't think this is quite his worst film. I think it's somewhere in the middle of the road, which is really high praise for any film, because the middle of the road Guillermo del Toro movie is still a really good film. And for the most part, I think this is a good watch. It's a solid watch. The performances are worth watching. The production designs are decent. And I do like the Alexander Desplat score, even though it's not quite as memorable as some of his other scores.